Everybody says to invest in Bitcoin. Literally everybody. But what actually is Bitcoin and how does it work? In the video today, I'll talk about exactly that. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Sean from Crypto for the 99%. And in the video today, I'm going to break down what Bitcoin is, how it actually works, and why it's gotten as big as it is. But before I start, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right below this video and click that little bell icon so that you can be notified whenever I upload new videos to the channel. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, I am not a financial advisor, and this video should not be taken as financial advice, nor should you make any financial decisions based on my videos. As always, before investing in anything, you should do your own research and consult with your own advisor before making any investment decisions. I do these videos for informational purposes only, and they shouldn't be used as financial or investment advice. And, most importantly of all, never invest money that you can't afford to lose. So now that we have that out of the way, let's hit the topic at hand. What actually is Bitcoin? Bitcoin has become an investment monster, and pretty much everybody has heard of it by this point. But one reality of the huge movement is this. A lot of people have purchased Bitcoin with no knowledge of what it actually is, how it works, or the problem that it even solves. I am a firm believer that before investing in any cryptocurrency, or investing in anything for that matter, you should at least have an understanding of what it is that you're investing in. Bitcoin is the OG of cryptocurrencies. Now, the idea of cryptocurrency can actually be traced back to the early 80s in 1983, but Bitcoin was the first to actually execute a decentralized cryptocurrency, and we'll touch on decentralization in a short bit. In its simplest form, Bitcoin is just a virtual currency. Obviously, this means it is not a physical thing that you can hold in your hand like a quarter or a nickel. It exists only as digital information. But to understand why digital currency is necessary, we need to go back a few years. Bitcoin emerged in 2008, right after the beginning of the Occupy Wall Street movement. Most of us remember those times very well. Banks were accused of misusing borrowers' money, rigging the financial system, screwing clients out of their money altogether, and charging exorbitant fees on top of it, basically putting everybody's money at the mercy of the banks who held it. Bitcoin's pioneers aimed to change all of this. They wanted to put people back in charge of their own money by completely eliminating banks as the middleman, getting rid of interest fees, and making transactions transparent and corruption-proof. They wanted to create a completely decentralized mode of finance where you have control of your own money and know what's happening with it without depending on banks. By eliminating the middleman, people are given the ability to send money to anybody, anywhere in the world, in a fraction of the time banks would take to send it, and for a fraction of the fees banks would charge to do it. So this is a basic diagram of what the current process looks like. So say you're in the US, and say you have $1,000 that you need to send to somebody in, say, Bulgaria. You need to give that money to the bank, who charges you a fee straight away for doing it. Then, your money needs to be exchanged into the native currency where you're sending it, which incurs another fee. Then, the receiving bank in Bulgaria will charge one more fee before it actually gets to the person that you're sending it to. And this entire process can take a week or more to happen. This is the wholly inefficient process that literally means you throwing money away through the simple act of sending it to somebody else. Bitcoin changes that. The only thing you need to send money to somebody, no matter where in the world they are, is their Bitcoin wallet address. That's it. And on average, it takes about an hour for the transaction to go through. It achieves this, among many other things, through the use of the blockchain. So I'll reserve the long, detailed description of the blockchain for a future video, since it really is the fundamental building block of cryptocurrencies in general. But to simplify it, the blockchain is essentially a digital ledger that encrypts and stores transactions on the network. The network itself is not your typical company-owned server like what banks would have. It is a peer-to-peer network of computers around the world who would all work together to process transactions and write them to the blockchain. And this is how it achieves decentralization. Take a bank like Chase or Wells Fargo. They own their own servers where they store all of their data on clients and money and transaction and such. So they are a single entity in control of all of the databases that they own, which theoretically means they have the power to make changes to that data in any way they want. What this also means is two things. Because they are one company who owns their one infrastructure, they have a single point of failure and a single point of attack. Meaning, if a hacker was to take down their servers, they are screwed and their clients are screwed. Or, if their servers were to just go down, they are screwed and their clients are screwed. The Bitcoin network prevents this. Every single computer or node in Bitcoin's peer-to-peer network is running the exact same version of the blockchain. So there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of copies of the blockchain out there in the world. This means that there is no single point of failure or any single point of attack. If one computer on the network gets taken down, there are thousands and thousands of others that continue running and everything continues as normal. In order for a hacker to actually gain control of the Bitcoin network, it would require a coordinated effort to take a 51% control of the network, which in the tech industry we call that a 51% attack. But the pure cost and absurd amount of computational power required to pull that off is absolutely insane. The blockchain is also immutable. So what this means is that once a transaction is verified and written to the blockchain, it is there forever and cannot be changed. A quick look at the blockchain diagram here again. You can see that each block is basically containing transaction records. You can see Alice sent 0.42 bitcoins to Bob, and so on and so on. Each block contains transaction records, and each block is identified by a unique hash, which is those weird-looking number-letter combinations that you're seeing. If somebody was to go into one of these blocks on the chain and try to change it, it would break the blockchain and the change would be rejected. The reason for this is because each block on the chain is linked cryptographically to the block before it, hence the term blockchain. Even changing a single character in the content of a block changes the hash of that block and breaks the link to the previous block, thereby breaking the blockchain, and the blockchain rejects the change. But this also means that transactions are irreversible. So when you send Bitcoin to somebody, as soon as the transaction is verified and written onto the blockchain, it cannot be reversed by anybody. Not you, not the banks, not the President of the United States. Nobody. This also means that Bitcoin holders have to be careful since there is no safety net. If you accidentally send Bitcoin to the wrong person, it's gone. And unless you have an extremely understanding recipient on the other end, there's no getting it back. Bitcoin is also permissionless. You don't have to ask anybody to use it. If you hold Bitcoin, you can receive it and send it whenever you want. There is no bank and no payment processor to stop you from using your own coin. Hopefully I haven't confused you too much, because this was really just a top-down view of the engine behind Bitcoin. And I plan on doing a future video on blockchain in general that will go way more in depth than this to give you a more technical understanding of what goes into it. So why is Bitcoin as big as it is? Well, there's a lot of reasons why that is, but I want to point out just a couple of them. First, it is the granddaddy of cryptocurrencies. That much we already know. It provides a store of value that is completely independent of government influence and central banks. And second, it's scarce. When Bitcoin was created, it was programmed to have a maximum possible supply of 21 million coins. So this means once the 21 millionth Bitcoin has been created, there can never be any more. And in common economics, in its simplest term, scarcity increases value. And we can see here on CoinMarketCap that a little over 18.3 million Bitcoins have already been created, which leaves less than 3 million more until the supply of Bitcoin stops forever. So what do I think about Bitcoin personally? Like most others that are in the cryptocurrency market, I am huge on the future of Bitcoin for an awful lot of reasons, and I do hold some Bitcoin myself. But if you're new to the market, you need to be wary of several things. Cryptocurrencies are volatile, none more so than Bitcoin. That is just the inherent trait of the cryptocurrency market in general. And you can see in this diagram, just in the last year alone, the price of a single Bitcoin has been anywhere between $4,000 and $12,000. I absolutely encourage you to watch as much content as possible about Bitcoin and what it does, but I will also encourage you to be wary about one thing: price prediction videos. Price prediction videos exist for every cryptocurrency imaginable and are everywhere on YouTube. You'll see video after video saying things like, Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 billion, trillion, quadrillion by the middle of June 2020. Or other ones like, the massive Bitcoin run is literally going to start today and go straight to the moon, so if you're not in, you're missing out. In fact, the Bitcoin halving was about 10 or 11 days ago. And while I won't go into detail about what the halving is, the halving is a big deal in the cryptocurrency space. But that being noted, I went back and I watched a video from a couple of months ago where an expert, quote-unquote expert, predicted that Bitcoin would be $250,000 a coin by the time of the halving, which was 10 days ago. Yeah, as you can see, CoinMarketCap says it's just a few bucks under $250,000. And from the negative end of the spectrum, Warren Buffett, who we all are pretty familiar with as the absolute king of investors, has said and maintains that Bitcoin is worthless. He too was very wrong. So, if there's one thing that the cryptocurrency market is not, that's predictable. Never base an investment in crypto on what you see some guy on YouTube predicting for it. Cryptocurrency is very speculative, and that's exactly what price predictors are doing, speculating, and often wildly. But honestly, yes, I do believe that Bitcoin can get to $250,000 a coin. I do, at some point in the future. But I believe that point in the future to be years from now. And no, I am not willing to predict that, nor depend on that actually happening. Of course, we all hope that happens. Who doesn't want Bitcoin to go to $250,000 and make a whole bunch of people rich? But depending on that happening is something altogether different. So there's a 10,000-foot view of Bitcoin to get you started in learning about it. There's a lot more to unpack where that came from, and I completely encourage you to do some extra research and learning on all of the complexities behind the coin. It is a complex subject, and this was just a trimmed down crystal light version of what it really is. I highly suggest you head to Bitcoin's website and download and read the original white paper. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description also. In fact, a good rule of thumb is that basically every cryptocurrency started with a white paper, and you can go to any of their websites and access those easily. When you're learning about a new crypto, the first thing you should always do is read the white paper. Now, the papers are generally a mix of high-level overviews of the crypto's function and vision, and highly technical specifications about the software and the infrastructure under it, which will alienate a lot of people. But at a minimum, you should at least read the overviews of each currency to give you an understanding of what its purpose is and how it works. So we'll leave it at that for now. If you have any questions or comments, definitely go ahead and leave them down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well and click that little like button also. I would love you if you did it. And as always, stay safe, and I'll see you all next time.